Hey guys, welcome to my breakdown of all of the details so far for Halo Campaign Evolved, the Halo 1 remake. We're doing this breakdown a little bit differently because I'm not at my setup. I'm currently backstage at the Halo World Championships, so we're going to be going through all the stuff like I am right now, and we're going to break it all down on the fly. So let's start out with the Waypoint article they released, which gives us new information that is actually insane. First off, this art is absolutely beautiful of Chief and Cortana. I am a huge fan of that. That is stunning. I love the colours in the background. So I've read through all of this, and I'm going to just pick out the most important stuff, the stuff that you want to know. So one of the things that they didn't show off properly, at least yet, is the expanded weapon sandbox. So here you can say that they're adding 9 additional weapons from the Halo universe for the first time in Halo 1, including the energy sword, which we did know, the battle rifle, the needle rifle, and more. I saw someone else say that they're adding the fuel rod cannon, which is excellent. That should be there in Halo 1. Bungie always wanted to be there, and it wasn't. They're also apparently adding the Sentinel beam as well, which, again, you guys know that I have a real soft spot for the Sentinels. I love the Sentinel beam, and I love seeing it get a second lease of life, so that is great as well. What else they're adding, we don't know. They're all the ones that they've said so far. They're also adding the ability to hijack nearby enemy vehicles, so vehicle hijacking is coming to Halo 1, which I think is great, as well as the ability to drive the Wraith, which, again, I think back in the day, I think every single one of us tried that at least once in Halo 1 and had no idea why we couldn't. So now we can do. Well, if it isn't my doppelganger. Look, we're literally wearing the same quarter zip. Anyway, guys, so back to the breakdown. Apologies, fellas. So yeah, I think we've always wanted to drive the Wraith in Halo 1, and the fact that we can is excellent. I love that. They've also added the option as well to add a 4th person to sit on the back of the Warthog, which I think is really cool because it now has 4-player co-op. So one person can kind of sit on the back of the gun post, which is a great addition. They're also adding a ton of schools. They kind of made an emphasis on this. When we go to the Roundtable, you'll see that again. But they're adding loads of schools. One thing I will say is that I really hope we can actually pick them up again, because I don't know why you couldn't do that in Halo 5 and Infinite. That just made no sense to me, considering both games had Oddball. I guess Halo 5 didn't until after launch, but Infinite did, and you couldn't pick up the skull. Like, part of the charm of the schools is picking them up and going through levels, like, bashing grunts with them. So, make them wieldable, please. The schools are going to randomize weapons, alter enemy behavior, alter player attributes, environmental effects, and more. And actually, on the topic of that, something they announced on the community stage, actually, in between filming videos, was that apparently you can toggle sprint and modern movement stuff off, which I actually think is kind of interesting, because that to me implies that the game hasn't been changed for sprint. They've not had to like expand areas, because I mean the sprint is very clearly just infinite sprint. Sorry, I thought I'd just put some gameplay in the background so you guys can watch something. Clearly the areas haven't been massively expanded for sprint, which is really, really good. So the option to turn that off, I think, is excellent for people like me who just don't want to use it. Also, they said that the HUD is customizable, which again is excellent, because that default HUD, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that default HUD is absolutely horrendous. I'm changing that immediately, and I'm never using that one. I can't be honest. Default HUD layouts from Halo 1, I'm assuming you'll be able to do. So yeah, let's get back to the article. And of course, one of the big things as well is that they've announced that there's going to be 3 new levels coming that is a Sergeant Johnson and Chief prequel to Halo 1. Now, of course, there's so many things that could be. It could be something on Reach. It could be Silent Storm, for example, because obviously Johnson was in that, and that was set in like 25, 34 or 32, I think, pretty early in the war. There's so much stuff they could do with that. I'm extremely excited for that. That is one of the best things about doing a remake of an old game, I think, when you add stuff like that, like I've said before, Bungie couldn't have added back in the day because it either didn't exist or they just couldn't. Doing that is great. So that brings Halo 1 up to 13 levels overall. So, Entertainment Weekly, of all places, actually also just released some brand new concept art for the Halo 1 remake, including this one of the Silent Cartographer. Yep, we've seen this before. However, there's one here of what looks to be Truth and Reconciliation. I think this is when the hunters come down from the Truth and Rec on the grav lift, because that's what's in the background. And Chief is doing a kind of Halo Legends, the package style plasma rifle sort of one-hander that Kelly does. But the best one is this, of the Maw with the Flood coming into the Pillar of Autumn in the wreckage of it, which, I mean, there's nothing to glean from this really, like, it's just concept art, but I mean, looking at the Flood forms, they look really good. They look fucking amazing. You know what I'm not seeing? I think, unless that's something there, I'm not seeing any orange glowing fucking pustules or whatever they call them. None of that nonsense. They seem to be gone. Those combat forms look really, really good. There's a carrier form there that might have some orange stuff on it. Maybe. Hopefully that's just in the concept art. But I'm loving the look of this. This looks really, really cool. That looks a bit like a Sentinel, maybe. But Regardless, this is something that I found after recording the initial video, and I had to throw it in because, of course, the flood. So anyway, let's continue. So let's go through the roundtable reveal now and break down the stuff they talked about in this video. So one of the most interesting things that I noticed about the gameplay and the little kind of sizzle trailer there is that there's a real mix of old and new sound effects in this game. I heard so many sound effects that were like Chip Stubbo like voice lines, or Marcus Stacker voice lines, or OG Grunt voice lines, and some OG like environment and weapon sound effects as well. But they've also changed some, and I will come to this later because they talk about like faithful recreations or like faithful rebuildings of like OG weapon sound effects, for example, and I think that that's absolutely not the case. I don't think the weapons sound faithful at all. I think they sound markedly worse than Halo 1, but we'll get to that.
And for the first time, PlayStation, it'll be arriving next year to talk more.
I mean, PlayStation, man, that is unfathomably big. I think we all know that, but just hearing Brian say that, Halo on PlayStation, is insane. I really hope that this game is good, and it is a good jumping on point, because, I mean, the potential of Halo on PlayStation and Halo being a completely multi-platform game now is utterly absurd, and that of course means the more players come to the game, the more they enjoy it, the more they buy more games, the more games get made. It's a win-win for everybody involved. It means that we get more games, hopefully more often. We've heard that before, but hopefully this time it actually happens. Okay, so one of the things that we've all noticed by now is that the AR, for some strange reason, is not a 60-rounder in Halo 1. That is the main identity of Halo 1's AR, to be honest with you. It's the one main facet of that rifle that separates it from every other iteration of the AR. Why they've gone to 32 rounds, I don't know. Halo 1's AR was built on being a bullet hose, being like a handheld Gatling cannon. And with 32 rounds and the new sound effect, it really doesn't feel like that.
Whenever we make a change, the number one thing was to be true to the original game.
For every one of those
So that's a very interesting thing to say, because there are certain parts of this game that absolutely, unequivocally feel like that. They feel true to the OG. A lot of the dialogue, like, again, I'm going to keep saying this. You're going to get sick of me saying this. Hearing Chip Stubbo and Marcus Stacker again, even though it's the old voice lines, by the sounds of it, at least from Halo 1, hearing that in this new remake is so good at grounding the game and making it feel familiar. But then at the same time, you've got kind of the antithesis of that, where genuinely feels like half the assets in this game, where like half of the weapon designs or the enemy designs just are Halo Infinite designs. And it's like we're retreading the steps from Halo 1 Anniversary there, because the whole thing with Halo 1 Anniversary, one of the whole things, was that game just felt like Halo Reach, and Halo Reach evolved, basically, because it was just like Halo Reach assets in Halo 1. And that's exactly what I didn't want from this remake, and there are certain parts of it that aren't like that, and then there are parts that absolutely are, and it's like, we're not making Halo Infinite Combat Evolved, we're making Halo 1. This is a Halo 1 remake, not Halo 1 in Halo Infinite. So I find that quote there to be a bit hit and miss.
It's a balancing act between that difficulty tuning and, you know, making those encounters the right size for the right space.
That's good, because obviously Halo 1 never had 4-player co-op, and I never really factored that in, but you obviously have to increase the size of encounters to account for 4 people engaging in them. So it's good to hear that they're clocking that.
And so if you can do a true legendary All Skulls On run, let us know. Because I'd love to see it. I mean, that'd be really hard.
See, I'm curious about that. They say the most schools we've ever had in a Halo game. That is going to make Lasso insane in this game. Like, unequivocally well, maybe not the hardest, but it theoretically should be if there's the most schools. I'm curious to see what new ones they add, because, yeah, I mean, we've talked about schools already. Let's continue.
You finally killed the elite with the sword. That weapon hits the floor, and you can pick that up and just, you know, kind of really take it to the enemy.
See, I like that, and by the sounds of it, that energy sword sound, it actually does have the of like Halo 2 and Halo 3, and, well, the Bungie sound, and not the like fucking 343 lightsaber sound, which is great. And I love the fact that they've added the sword, because, I mean, we were always kind of teasing Halo 1 with a sword. It was on the floor, well, for like 2 seconds before turning off, and we couldn't take it. That was one of the best additions in Halo 2. So that being in Halo 1, I have absolutely no qualms with whatsoever.
The sound design.
It also, by the way, just real quick, yeah, I mean, the sword does look really, really, really sick. You can't deny that. That does look really good. And it has that kind of emissive gas look to it as well.
The effects, the actual panels on the weapons themselves, the ammo.
See, I should save this for my brutally honest video, which should be going up tomorrow. But I'm going to say now, I don't like the fact that so many of the weapons are just like, well, some of them at least are just infinite versions. Like, that is just the infinite needler. It looks the exact same. Also not a fan of the plasma rifle having that weird, where is it? Where are you? that like weird bump on the front. I'm not sure. I think if you just cut that off, it would look perfect. It's a good model, and I love the little like ammo heat gauge on the side still being there. Just get rid of that little bump on the front, and it'll be great. Okay, so the flood bit is very interesting because they say that obviously there's been a lot of developments with the flood from Halo 1 to Halo 3. They evolved a lot. I mean, they literally evolved, but they also, the AI changed and stuff like that. They got mostly improved. And so one of the things they are doing is, alongside ramping up the horror, as they say, which is exactly what I want to hear, they're adding the tank form from Halo 3, which, yes, is a pure form, but this isn't like, this shouldn't be cannon breaking. I don't think they'll retcon it. As you can see there, the tank form. The way they could do this is very simple. Like, you could just have it be a cold storage Halo 3 tank style tank encounter, I guess, where, you know, you've got the tank form floating in that tube. Well, it'd be very possible for the research facility in the swamp or the library to have those tubes for the Foreigners to study the tank forms. So obviously those tubes break when the outbreak happens, and nothing gets retconned. The tank forms exist within the feral stage outbreak of the flood without breaking any cannon. I hope that's how they go. They should go like that.
And I would say this is a learning specifically from CE2 Anniversary, which is just kind of that mood, the atmosphere, the tension, the horror, and really delivering on that from the way that we stage the encounter.
And you see, that's exactly what I want to hear, because obviously people through Guilty Spark in Halo 1 Anniversary just got butchered completely. The vibe, the tone, the atmosphere just were not there because of various changes to the environments and the lighting and just the color tone of the level. And that little snippet there, let me just go back real quick. That little snippet there, you only see a little bit of it, but wait for it. That little snippet there, like the vibe of that with the light breaking through the trees looks like such, almost like gothic haunted house core, which is awesome. I adore that. I actually always thought that the library suite of soundtrack pieces in Halo 1, in OG Bungie Halo 1, always sounded like haunted house music with the organs and stuff, and so that fits that vibe really well, and that little brief thing there does give me hope that the horror stuff will actually be dialed up this time, and it won't just be like a bunch of like meaningless words said in the Vidoc for the sake of saying them, you know? So one of the most important things to talk about here with the cinematics, which I gotta say, look incredible. Like, I am very level-headed with a lot of stuff. I am not honeymooned. I will glaze the hell out of those cutscenes because not only do they look beautiful, but their actual shot design, the way they're shot, the camera angles, just night and day over Infinite's one takes. It's not even comparable, but they, oh, dude, I mean, oh my god. Like, I fuck with that so heavy. One of the things they say, though, is that obviously they didn't just, like, redo the cutscenes one-to-one. They've basically remade the cutscenes with the exact same sort of bones as original, like, Bungie Halo 1 cutscenes, but just with, like, different takes, different shots, maybe some, like, little extra scenes thrown in there, which I think is excellent. That's something that Resident Evil 4 did quite well with the remake, and also 2 as well, and it's something that I'm really happy to see them doing here, because, I mean, these cutscenes look absolutely spectacular. The shot design, the lighting, the graphics, the aesthetic for the most part, in the cinematics specifically, looks insanely good. Like, like I said, I will glaze that to the high heavens and back. Okay.
These missions specifically are meant to be a prequel setup for, you know, the main course.
So, interestingly, a prequel setup, and that is some kind of Covenant ship. I'm actually not, is that a Seraph? It looks like a Seraph on top, but you look at the bit at the bottom and it doesn't look like a Seraph, so that's probably a brand new Covenant ship. It looks pretty cool, I gotta say. And of course, we have the Chief and Johnson early campaign levels. There are so many things they could do with this. Of course, they could make an entirely new story, but then they could also do some stuff on Reach. They could do Silent Storm. I mean, I'm fine with them doing anything, to be honest with you. I'm fine with them doing a completely original story. I'm fine with them doing something that's already existed and putting it into a game. Both are good for me. This will be in just awesome extra content. This is the kind of stuff that a remake should be doing. And I love to see them doing it.
Start engaging and sending builds out to some of our community members.
So they've been sending builds out to community members. I'm not one of those members, FYI. I hand on my heart swear to you that I've not been playing this game. I have not seen anything about this game. I know nothing about this game until today. Like, I have not been sent anything. I've not played it. So just make from that what you will. Anyway, so that pretty much does it for the roundtable. Let's move on now to the gameplay and break down the gameplay in the highest detail possible. So again, I just gotta say, this intro cutscene is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. The shot design, I know you're sick of hearing me say that stuff. You probably are. The Pelican looks awesome. Not a huge fan of how that Foreigner Spire looks. I've got to be honest, it's too reflective for Halo 1. Halo 1 was always quite matte. But again, just this cutscene, is awesome. Okay, interesting little note here. So, firstly, I gotta say, wait for it, I love this shot from the bay. I love that. That is awesome. Very kind of action cam style, in the action, but not one take. But the Marines are just infinite Marines. They aren't Halo 1 Marines, they're infinite Marines, which are basically Reach Marines, which ironically means that we're back at square one, back at the Halo 1 Anniversary square one, where we have a Halo 1 remake that is using Reach assets, which I really was hoping we wouldn't get. I don't like Reach as Marines. I preferred Infinites to Reaches, but I want Halo 1 Marines, man. I want Halo 1 Marines. I want actual modern-day, high-fidelity Halo 1 Marines in the Unreal Engine that have that Aliens inspiration, right? They have the Colonial Marines inspiration with the metal plates on the shoulders, on the arms, and the green eyepieces, which they may well have in this. But they aren't the Halo 1 Marines. That strafing run is awesome. That is so sick. I love that so much. Hearing the Pelicans like main turret firing is awesome. I love how they're still using the Ghost in the Shell inspired like pilot visor for Fohammer. Also, Fohammer. That is Fohammer. We finally see her, which is really cool. Yeah, the Ghost in the Shell inspired kind of pilot visor is such an intrinsically like Bungie aesthetic coded thing. That, and also the Marathon style one in Halo 2 as well, which was sick because it's Marathon inspired. But I love to see them doing that. That's a great little touch. That is one of those little details that obviously wouldn't be the game wouldn't break if it wasn't there. But at the same time, it being there just makes the game feel that bit more grounded in the Halo 1 that we know, which makes it more approachable for long-time fans, and also it gives more of like a draw point for new fans, which there are going to be a lot of with this game coming to PlayStation. That is the biggest thing to ever happen to Halo. I would hand on heart say that. Even bigger than PC, I think, because obviously we had Halo 1 on PC back in the day, but PlayStation is just Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's continue. So I'm gonna say regarding the colors of this, I'm actually going to just... Regarding the colours of this, I think the colours look good, but I think something about the overall colour scheme of the remake just looks a bit muddier than Halo 1. Halo 1 just looks so pristine and so vibrant, but not like YouTube thumbnail hypersaturation vibrancy, you know? Like, it just is so pleasing on the eyes, and this, to me, isn't immensely pleasing, even though the graphics are crazy. Like the water looks insane. The lighting is unfathomably good, but the color scheme just, I don't know if it's too muted. I don't know. I'm not a color genius, but it just doesn't hit the same as Halo 1. That said, though, the skybox absolutely good. The skybox has that like purple hue to it, which I honestly thought they did not bring back. That's the thing, that's what I'm saying. There's like so many little things like that are tiny little details from Halo 1 that are very important, but they're not details that you'd expect them to bring back, and they do. And then there's other stuff where it's like obvious shit, like the 60-round AR mag, and that doesn't come back. Obviously, two very different things, but I gotta say, Alpha Halo looks awesome in the skybox as well. I really like that. So the Warhog design, thank God, isn't the 3431 with like the roll cage and stuff. I never liked that design. I always massively preferred Bungie's design, and this is, obviously it's not one-to-one with Bungie's, it's a bit chunkier, a bit wider, but I love the design of this. I especially love the angled turret guard. I've missed that for so long, and I love that. The same shape, the same angle, amazing. You see, the way the Marines move is, to me, very Halo 1 looking, which I think is probably where the Blam engine comes in that they're using Halo Reach Marine AI, I would presume at least, which is why they move like that. Now, okay, this is something interesting that I am not a fan of at all, that I only just picked up on. So, by the looks of it, the health system is gone. There's no health packs anywhere. The health, we'll see in a second, but the health bar there, it recharges without a health pack.
To get in there and stop them before they
I love the impact effects of the turret. That's really cool. So here we go. We can hear the gun sounds again. Yeah, the gun sounds are different. They don't sound like Halo 1's gun sounds for the most part. There's some that absolutely do, but most of them really don't. They sound very different. And again, I'll mention this in my brutally honest video tomorrow, but not for the better, I don't think. And there you go. You can see the recharging health. So the health system, by the looks of it, is gone. Which I am not a fan of. I think this hallway kind of lacks a bit of source as well. It's just very grey. The lights look nice and the mural looks awesome.
My analysis
indicates it just, I don't know, I felt like it had way more source in Halo 1. Now this, I gotta be honest, this section here, the chasm, looks unfathomably good. My many criticism, or some of my criticisms at least, that I've got with the Foreigner aesthetic in this, and how it doesn't look very Halo 1, even though this doesn't look all that Halo 1, I'd actually say it looks more Halo 2, Halo 2 Anniversary maybe. It just has this sense of awe to it.
Security override to get this door open.
It has that same ominous effect to it that it had in Halo 1, where the lighting and what looked to be fog as well make it feel like the architecture feels so imposing, and like they were built by the species that were far beyond our understanding and technological levels, which obviously they were. And even though it doesn't look the same, I do really like that room. There is a lot of texture popping. Just gonna back that up real quick. You'll see in the mountains in the top right, there's a lot of texture popping. You can see up there. A lot of stuff pops in. I mean, this is an early build, so there's going to be stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure that'll get fixed for launch, but worthy of noting. Something interesting here is that now you can take the Warthog all the way through to the Hunters and theoretically through to the security station, which you couldn't do before because there was a rock in the way. And you know what? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm down for that. So this section here, you can see that the Foreign architecture is far more metallic and shiny than it was in Halo 1. So something interesting actually. Nick released a video because he's been playing the game, and he posted a video shooting the Hunters. And what happens when you shoot the Hunters is the worms, the Legolo, will actually, when they're dead at least, they'll like crawl out of the body when you start shooting it, which is really cool. I'm almost certain as well that they're using the animations from the Halo 5 Halo 1 Magnum for the Magnum. That animation where there's a round in the chamber and you drop the Magnum and put another one in, it looks exactly like the Halo 5 Halo 1 Magnum rec weapon animation. Speak of the devil, you never guess you just showed up to my hack together booth. I was literally just talking about your video.
Oh, bro.
Would you look at that?
What do you think?
What I think, I'll save this in detail for my video tomorrow, yeah. But I'm like here and there on it. There's some stuff that I really like, and there's other stuff that I'm not on board with at all. It's not the Halo 1 remake that I would have dreamt of, to be honest. In some ways it is. In some ways it is, actually. I mean, the extra levels, dude, Johnson and Chief, 3 levels, fuck yeah, sign me the fuck up.
So.
But then there's other stuff, like half the assets are just infinite assets. Want to play a Halo 1 remake that has Halo 1 assets, not, but, what are you thinking? Give us your quick 5-second thoughts.
I like it. I agree that the assets, I feel like the elites don't look like CE elites to me. I think like overall the graphics are great. I think it's good. I think there are elements that really captured, like the coloring and all that, like the plant in the background. I want to see more of like a diverse biome, like a snow biome.
Yeah, I saw in the control room I really want to see. 2 betrayals as well, because even though obviously same biome, very different. Right, I'm gonna get back to my breakdown. Okay, that's another cameo in the video over. Let's continue. So this room, I love the vibes in this room. Even though it's missing some of the accented details, I love how ominous the vibe gets in this room, because it did in OG Halo 1. So it's good to see that they've kept that. I'm also pretty sure as well that the animations for the Hunters are the Halo 1 animations. That animation where the Hunter goes like boom, boom, that is a Halo 1 animation. I know that, I can see that from a mile off. I'm pretty sure it is. And that one as well, they're like, boom, that sounds like, or looks like Halo 1 too. They have obviously made it so that you can't one-tap the Hunters anymore with the Magnum, which was a Halo 1 staple, and you guys know that I'm very down for keeping Halo 1 staples, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm fine with that. Now, oh! My mic arm just fell off. Sorry, this is the most scuffed breakdown of all time. So the hologram of the cartographer, I actually really like the design of it, even though it's not Halo 1's, because Halo 1 and honestly all the Bungie games had a very specific design language for Forerunner holograms that I feel has been massively missing since. And this doesn't have that design language. However, it kind of gives me like Resident Evil hologram vibes, or like almost Blade Runner, in the fact that it's almost kind of distorted, which I do really like. Yeah, that hologram's alright. It doesn't look like the Bungie ones though, which I do massively prefer. The Bungie ones always had loads of little moving parts, especially in Halo 2 and Halo 3. There were loads of little moving parts in them, like 3-dimensional moving parts, and that does look kind of just like a 2D sprite, I guess, or image, whatever. This cutscene is awesome, and listen, wait for it. The classic Bungie energy sword sound. We already mentioned it, but that's what I like to see. Now, that cutscene, again, I fuck with so heavy. Like, the teasing of that elite, almost making him out to be like a mini-boss with the mandibles. Awesome. Fucking awesome. However, I just wish it wasn't... That's just an infinite elite. I wish it was a Halo 1 elite. I don't want infinite elites in Halo 1. If you're going to do all the Halo 1 elites and then also add infinite elites, awesome. Sick. I'm down for that. But I don't want the infinite elites to replace the Halo 1 elites in a Halo 1 remake, because this is a Halo 1 remake. Again, let me reiterate. It's not Halo 1 in Halo Infinite. It's Halo Campaign Evolved, a Halo 1 remake. So I'm not a fan of this overuse of infinite assets, and no, I'm not a fan of that, even though this cutscene fucks heavy. Absolutely heavy.
Good.
By the looks of it as well, we can't really tell for sure, but those camo elites, again, look like the Infinite Spec Ops elites, which is a design that they are. They've got that almost like Halo 3 Commando style helmet, and I fuck with that design heavy. I love that design, because it's the first time since Halo 3 that we've had a helmet that kind of looks like the Halo 3 Commando helmet. But, you know, I want Halo 1 elites in a Halo 1 remake. That's not too much to ask for. So as you can see, the layout of the levels and the encounters, at least in Silent Cartographer, maybe the rest of the levels are different, but the sequencing is the exact same. Even down to like the grunt spawning on the little mesa, and Bravo 22 is it? I forget the code name. Crash landing with rockets to deal with the hunters. It's the exact same. It's identical, which is good. That's a good thing, by the way. I'm very happy with that, because I wouldn't be opposed to like few little changes here and there, and I'm sure there will be some little changes here and there for level design. I think they actually mentioned, maybe on the community stage, I saw someone say it on Twitter, that with the library, they are changing a lot, which as you guys know, I'm not a library hater. It's by no means like the fucking Covenant or Silent Cartographer, but I don't hate it as much as everybody else. But it is unequivocally repetitive, very repetitive, and quite monotonous. So I'd be fine with them changing some stuff on that for sure. We'll see though. Again, you can see that purple hue up there from, again, I'm blanking, either Basis, Substance, or Threshold. I don't know why. I think Substance is Delta Halo. It's Basis, I'm pretty sure. I'm completely blanking. As you can hear there, the Hunters are using their OG Halo 1 sound effect for the cannon, which I have missed so dearly. And that's one of the examples of them killing it with the sound design, because it sounds awesome. And then you fire the AR and it sounds terrible, the Magnum. And then that brings us into the final cutscene that they showed off, which of course is Chief kicking the rock down the chasm. And dude, seeing Chief clearing corners, moving through the tunnel is awesome. I think the animation in these cutscenes, whoever was responsible for that, has absolutely cooked. Because I'm going to be honest, Infinite's cutscene animations, I thought were at best average and at worst pretty bad. That is night and fucking day over that. Night and fucking day. And again, like the framing of this is just, it keeps the vibe. I love that so much. It keeps the vibe of the original, but it just does it in a different way that still feels true to it, and that's the campaign gameplay. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do for the breakdown, because that's all we have so far. That's at least everything I've managed to find. I'm just going to let the trailer play in the background, because again it shows off that insane cutscene. When I get home from Worlds, I'm going to be doing like way more videos about this, so obviously just wait out for that. When I get home from Worlds, I'm going to be making way more videos about this. I've got more videos to come this weekend, but when I get back next week, I'll be doing loads more videos in my own setup. One thing I need to ask you guys for, I want to do a Q&A video about this game. So if you have any questions that you want to ask me about this game, my thoughts on certain things, or how I'm feeling, what I'd want, what I don't want, let me know down in the comments. I'm also going to post on the community tab as well about that. So fire away. I'm going to post a Q&A video tomorrow about this, because I'm sure you guys have got a lot of questions, and I also have a lot of questions and not many answers, but I don't know. There are probably some answers rummaging around up there. So thank you for watching. Apologies for the kind of scuffed breakdown. I'm doing the best I can here. I'm in a very unfamiliar scenario, unfamiliar location. I'm trying. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I love you guys, and I will catch you all in the next one.